Welcome to another edition of Inside Jokes RV. This is yours truly, Joe Shelton. Hey, today I want to talk about a few things. I'm going to call them the Shelton 6. These are things that are important in the RV world, but you also can implement these things in your regular household. Things that you need in your just your regular everyday home life. If you own a home or apartment, these are things you can think about in your home as well as the RV. Lately, the weather's been crazy. We've been having these crazy winter storms, and we've had these in Nashville, Tennessee. We've had floods, we've had tornadoes, we've had ice storms. We've had all this crazy weather. So there's some things that you definitely should think about in your home, but also definitely in the RV lifestyle, and you are boondocking and you're going off grid and things like that. Some of these things are self-explanatory, but these are some of the things that I found that are parallel, and so if you own a home that you can use and to keep in mind if you're a homeowner. Okay, and I'm going to call these the Shelton 6, and we're going to get to them right after this.
RV. Me and my RV.
The first couple things on the Shelton 6 are just really self-explanatory, no big secret here. Number one is water. Definitely know if you're RVing and you're boondocking, you're off-grid, you gotta have water. Whether you carry that water and use your fresh tank as your drinking water. A lot of people don't really use the fresh tank on the RV as their drinking source. We normally would carry bottled water or jerry cans of fresh drinking water in a separate, unless you sanitize your fresh tanks often. And so, but in the RV, a lot of people don't really drink from their fresh water tank. So you want to make sure you got water in your RV. Whether you're traveling, I don't like traveling with a full thing of my freshwater tank on my RV full, because it cuts down the gas mileage, so the weight of your RV. So you want to make sure you're checking all that, your capacity, your load, weights, and all that stuff. So I normally only travel with about 3 to 5 gallons on the RV, just in case for emergency stops and things like that. And household, I know everybody's so used to just going to the faucet and turning that faucet on. But if your pipes freeze, if a tornado happens and your sewer line, your water lines are contaminated, what do you do? So for the last 3-4 years, we've been using these big 5-gallon jugs. I have a water dispenser, and it takes us about 1 month to use a full 5-gallon water jug. So I normally have 2 of those. And then I also like to have a case of water in the garage or in the trunk of your car, just for those, scenarios where something emergency happening and you gotta have water. So don't always count on your utility company to provide you with fresh water. Crazy things can happen. You just want to be on the safe side and make sure you've got plenty of water. Number 2, self-explanatory, food. You want to make sure you have canned food, non-perishable food, things like that you can that you can keep in your counter and your shelf that has a long shelf life, like things like your canned soups and your ramen noodles and your stuff like crackers and things like that that have a long shelf life. When you're RVing, you always want to keep those things stored. You don't want to always count on refrigeration if your power goes out or something you don't have refrigerated, but you still be able to eat. So make sure you keep your on an RV trip, make sure you keep those types of items stocked in your RV. And at home, always keep a little case of those ramen noodles. They only cost like $1 for like 24 bags of those noodles, and several canned goods and things. And make sure you check the expiration dates on them and use them before they expire. And just keep a little shelf of some food and things that can get you by for a few days or a week in case of a snowstorm or something happens where you're just locked in your house. So that's self-explanatory. Food. Number 3 on my list is security. RV, of course, when you're out RVing, for the RV, this is all your trailer locks and hitches and locks, and your cameras. If you got backup cameras, you have dash cameras in your truck. You can use all those things sort of as security cameras. You can even mount security cameras in or around the outside of your RV. So when you're inside, you can just sort of keep an eye out on what's going around you when you're inside. Some cameras. And then of course at home, if the Ring is the popular thing, when you're away from home, you got the Ring, you can see what's coming on, who's moving around in front yard. Cameras, and you have another camera in the backyard so you see what's going on. Cameras inside your house, all relatively inexpensive. You can find all these little cameras for in your house and RV relatively $15-$20 on Amazon. Different variety of cameras around your house. Floodlights, make sure you got motion detection lights. Also on your RV, make sure you have motion detection lights when you're out camping, because when light pops on, that's gonna be a deterrent also. Then the most obvious forms of protection, of course, your firearms or anything like that. Make sure you're checking your local state laws as it comes to concealed weapons or whatnot. But traveling RV, hey, I'm always gonna have that friend with me. Also at home, so security. You always want to just think, never take anything for advantage that nobody's gonna steal my stuff, or nothing has happened so far. But you never want to be caught off guard. So I always think security is my home secure. Locks on your RV, changing out the locks from those standard locks on your RV, your storage locks, door locks, all those things. So always be thinking security with your RV and at home. Fourth thing, I call it, I'm going to name this is my health. And this is health. And this things like first aid kits, alcohol, hydrogen peroxide, band-aids, bandages, medication pain relief, insect bite relief, burn relief, all those things, health. Things that if you get injured, if you cut yourself, do you have the ability to clean a wound or injure, and that's out when you're out RVing, or even at home. If you're locked in and you're out stranded somewhere, and you might not have help to come get you right then and there, so you want to have things that can sort of tide you over. You can sort of clean a wound and bandage it up and keep it clean. Put some Neosporin or alcohol or peroxide, or your medication. You have any health ailments, you want to make sure you got plenty of your blood pressure medications or any other medications that you take. You want to make sure you have all those things with you on your RV trips and at home. Have a backup, supply if you can. So health, anything dealing with health, just keep it in mind. RV is, it's sort of goes hand in hand with RV. Most people have first aid kits, but at home, a lot of times we're not thinking about those things. So you want to make sure you have those things in mind as far as your personal health. Number 5, for me, I call it references. And this, for me, we're so dependent on the internet and our phones and our iPads and our computers. But what happens when the internet is out or your power's out? And this is especially true if you're RVing, you're out traveling, if you don't get a signal. So I like to always have the current world, the atlas maps, actual paper maps, different various books on, camping and how, different knots, little books and pamphlets and things you can have stored in your RV, your vehicle, or at home. How to start a fire, different ways to, if you're out in plants and things, what plants are edible, how to build a shelter, just actual books, references outside of your Google or your internet. So I have an atlas. I'm gonna have a book on camping and fishing knots and all those type of things. So have you 3 or 4 books to cover those things that you can look at, that in case power's out and there's no signal, you can always refer to some things that can help you out in a rough moment. And my last thing on my shelf, number 6, It's sort of broad, but I'm calling it my tools. All your tools you'll need, generators, power sources. Those things could be huge. As far as tools with RV, you always want to make sure you got, things like screwdriver, pair of pliers, a hammer, electric drill. Especially if it's RV, you want to have something like an impact driver in case your tire's flat, you can change your tire. Little things like electric tape and different connectors and nuts and bolts and zip ties. All those little trinkets and tools that you can keep in your RV. When something happens, you'll have something to happen. So it's the same as in your house. You should always have a screwdriver, a wrench, hammer, screws, little things in your little drawer and at home. Just in case something breaks, you can have something to help you repair some basic items, like a generator. The generator is probably the number one thing I would have on this list. And the power goes out. Do you have a way to power up and maybe power your refrigerator or charge your cell phone or turn on your laptop? If you have a health machine like a CPAP machine or something, do you have a way to power those things? So you can get things from a big gas power generator down to a rechargeable power source like the Rockman Paxos 500 that you can go back. I did a review of the previous video. Things like the Jackery, all those type of power sources. So you want to make sure you have all the tools, that is going to help you out when you're in your RV and at home. Your power goes out at home, hey, you go pull out that little power source. You can plug up your phone, charge, and and you'll be good to go. So number 1, water. Number 2, food. Number 3, security. Number 4 is health. Number 5 are references, books. And number 6, any type of tools, generators, power sources. So those are my Shelton 6, those things that I always think about at home and when I'm getting ready to get out on the RV world, taking a trip. I'm always going down that 6, make sure I got something covered in all those situations, just in case a worst case scenario happens, I won't be caught unprepared. So if you like this video, hit like, subscribe, and share the video. Leave me a comment, name me something you would add. Tell me what your top list of things that you do that you can compare or parallel with RV life and your regular home life. So till then, next time, see you in the next episode of Inside Jokes RV. Peace.
Me and my RV.